What gets you 20% off and free shipping?
Magic tricks.
No, just the promo code DANGLE at manscaped.com.
That's it.
That's
all
it.
You have to do.
It's like a constant sale all the time. We just want you to try it. It's amazing. Head to toe grooming with Manscaped, including underwear and ball deodorizers, because we couldn't do a Manscaped ad without saying what? Balls. That's right. Are we good?
Yeah. Sometimes I feel like I talk too much during these ads, and I
sorry.
just want to hear you jovially talk about balls.
Let's start the show. Balls.
The Steve Dangle Podcast. Powered by Sports Interaction. Canada's Sportsbook.
SDP. The Steve Dangle Podcast. With your hosts, Steve Dangle, Adam Wilde, and Jesse Blake.
All right, so I started Monday's show asking, how we doing, Leafs Nation? So I want to start Wednesday's show, how we doing, Leafs Nation? And I want to start with the heart rate of 133, Steve Dangle. How you feeling?
It's not how I'm feeling, Adam.
Is it what you're seeing?
It's what I'm seeing.
What are you seeing?
My vision coming to life. 5-0. That wasn't in the vision, but maybe it was. Maybe it was, and I just wasn't seeing hard enough. My own vision. 5-0. Are we all joking? Are we all serious?
Adam, do you like Steve's bit for this playoffs that he foresaw?
Nostradangle?
Yeah.
I do like it.
You like it?
I'm enjoying. Are you not on board?
It works.
I think it's here's what it is. I think he needs to get a little more Billy Graham about it.
Yeah.
Like a little bit more cheesy preacher from television.
Take it to the nth degree.
Yeah.
Jesse, see these donuts?
Yeah.
The reason you see them is because they're right in front of you.
Yeah.
So is my vision.
The reason I see them is because I was right.
The reason you see these, but you won't see my vision is you won't allow yourself.
I see your vision. It's just we'll see how it plays out.
I don't like.
It's hard to evaluate a game one when one team doesn't show up.
Hey, listen.
That was so weird.
So here's what I want to say. I want to say something about that. Start that right away. Yeah. The Leafs play objectively their best game of the year, and I gotta give huge credit, huge marks to John Cooper, because all he did was he came out and he said, and this is the narrative that everybody's run with afterwards. John Cooper said, "Well, it's really hard to get an evaluation on either team based on how we played." Mm-hmm. And what he is doing is A, deflecting. Mm-hmm. B, giving his team some time. He's playing for time because, like, listen, he can't say that if that happens again in game 2 tonight, right?
No.
But what he is able to do is go, listen, we're a better team. I believe in my guys without having to say it. Mm-hmm. And also kind of distract from the fact that Tampa just looked completely outmatched.
Yeah.
Are they going to play that badly the rest of the series? No. But I think it takes away from the fact that the Leafs played that well and put them off their game, especially since really the game really picked up when Kyle Clifford was sent off.
You have two fan bases talking about completely different things. Like I had conversations with Leaf fans around our age asking whether or not this is the best Leaf playoff game of our lifetime. And it might be. It might honest to goodness be. Meanwhile, the Tampa Bay Lightning, this is literally quantifiably their worst playoff game since 1996 when they lost 6-1 in game 6 of round 1 to the Philadelphia Flyers. And I remembered something. I wish I had remembered it for the LFR, but I remembered it after the fact. There was a game where the Leafs were losing. I don't remember which game this was, where Sheldon Keefe challenged a goal. It was either for goalie interference or offside, knowing he didn't have a great shot at getting it right. And he got it wrong. And the way he saw it was, well, if I'm right, the goal will get called back. Mm-hmm. If I'm wrong, we'll go on the penalty kill and it'll wake the team up.
Right.
Which, what a strange thing to think. Oh, you know what this team needs? Oh boy, the boys are reeling. Do they need a timeout? No. Should I play the big boys more? No. What I need to do is put them on the penalty kill. Pardon? Mm-hmm. And I sat there when Kyle Clifford, I found out during the commercial break on stream that he got 5 in a game. I didn't know immediately it was 5 in a game. Mm-hmm. And I said, all right, well, here's the game. Here it is right here. The Leafs are either about to lose it, and the rest of the night is just because you have to play it, or, like Sheldon Keefe said earlier this season, this could carry them for the rest of the night.
A hockey game in the NHL is 60 minutes long.
So long.
Monday night, 33 of the minutes of the 60 minutes played between Tampa and Toronto was at 5-on-5. The rest of it was on special teams. And the Leafs are so good at the penalty kill and on the power play that when they're playing almost half of the entire game on special teams, it's tilted to their favor. And I think we saw that.
I was wrong immediately. What was my number one concern heading into the series? I don't think their penalty kill matches up well against Tampa's power play.
No, but their penalty kill is amazing, and it's been that way all season.
Well, and it said kind of what we were talking about on Monday's show, which is the Leafs penalty kill is at its best when it spreads you out. If it's condensed, that's when you get into trouble.
Yeah.
And they kept Tampa spread out. There was a lot of breakaways, a lot of odd man rushes, the speed. The Leafs skated them into the ground.
There were a few teams who, in their first game of their playoff series, really failed to make an adjustment at special teams. Tampa failed in game one to make any adjustment to the Leafs penalty kill at all. And, the Minnesota Wild failed to adjust to the St. Louis Blues. And I know this because of Alan Walsh client, David Perron, getting a hat trick
On Alan Walsh client.
Marc-Andre Fleury. So I don't know how he felt about it. Are you allowed to tweet it, Alan?
Alan had a very good couple days because yesterday, the biggest drama of the night, Louis Domingue. Octagon client, baby.
Yeah.
Octagon got into the game 6 periods in.
And I can only assume Alan Walsh was on the phone trying to get Morgan Riley suspended for 10 games because he punched Alan Walsh client Jan Ruda in the forehead. I'm starting to learn like all of them.
Yes. It's just fun now.
It's just fun. I like the bit. If one gets called up, I'm like, oh, here we go.
I think this is really interesting because sports interaction, we were talking with David on Monday. But
what's we're talking prop on next Alan Walsh client?
There isn't one, but I think what's important is that
why not?
The Leafs are now favored to win
the game
tonight. They're favored to win, and the puck line thing, which is basically like an extra bet. There's the money line, which has Tampa or Toronto at it's a 173. So you just basically multiply your number. Jesse explained this to me before, but the puck line is if you think they're going to win by 2, and Toronto's the favorite team.
See,
and that was not
what
it was 48 hours ago.
No, I love you guys trying to teach me this because I'm just like, okay, here's $5. How much do I win?
Well, and you have
how much do I win if I'm right?
Literally everybody from outside Toronto saying, if you think you got a chance in this series, you don't have a chance. Now, that might still be true. This could be over in 5, but I don't think so.
Okay. I saw a very interesting stat it's going to be the stat of the night heading into it. Andrei Vasilevsky, over the last 2 years, following a loss, is 14-0.
He's undefeated after losing a game. It's
with
fascinating.
A 9.66 save percentage and I believe 5 shutouts.
Yeah, on this cup run, they have been unbelievable coming back from a loss.
You mean like not this year, because this is not a cup run year for them anymore.
On these 2 years worth of cup runs for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Adam, before we go too far from what you said, what happens to those people who are the anti-Leafs people if the Leafs pull off this series? Because you're like, everybody said, what happens to those people if the Leafs actually win?
So whoever they're playing in the next round, then they say, okay, now you don't have a chance. You do what I did to Montreal. And most people did to Montreal last year and go, they don't have a chance. No, they couldn't have a chance. No way they don't have it. Fuck off. They're in the finals? That's what happens.
Dude, it was the craziest thing.
It was. But to be honest with you, it's not like the Leafs run would be a Cinderella story. This is a dominant team. They have home ice advantage. I think Montreal was Montreal finished 18th and then 23rd the year before?
Yeah.
I mean, come on. It's a little different.
What's different is,
What's different is the perception of the franchise. But like Adam just said, they're the favorite to win the game. So it's not surprising if they win. But everybody after they win, they're like, oh, fucking Leafs are not going to do it.
But isn't it funny how the odds have switched? Because going in, Tampa Bay.
Story. Yes, going in, absolutely Tampa Bay. They're the defending Stanley Cup champions. I don't care who has home ice advantage. But Tampa winning it without their captain in the bubble. St. Louis winning it after being in last place in January. The Capitals winning it despite never getting over the hump at all.
Basically, the Caps won the year after they thought they were going to win.
That's the year after they should have. St. Louis, too, in a way, and Tampa definitely. Right?
Absolutely.
They were the President's Trophy winners and then got swept in the first round. What? That's not how this is supposed to work. Listen, if I had a reverence for Tampa heading into the series, I still do. Because
and that's earned.
And it's earned, and it's because I know the Leafs are going to get a true education of what it's like to take on a championship caliber team. They're going to learn tonight.
Okay, so how do you think tonight go? Because I posed the question to you guys on the last show. What's it look like if they win the series? What's it look like if they don't? Right? So tonight, what do you expect to see from Tampa?
I expect this series to come down to 1 or 2 games where the team dictating the play loses, right? Game 1, the Leafs dictated the play.
And won.
They have to dictate the play tonight. You have to dictate. The home team has to dictate, right? If Tampa brings it to the Leafs, which they will, and the Leafs wilt at all, they're in trouble. It's going to be a big problem for them.
Do you get the sense that they will?
That the Leafs will wilt? I don't know if it's that they'll wilt. I think it might be that Tampa just finds a way to jump over the wall. I mean, like so many guys had pedestrian games. Kucherov, meh.
Bad penalty too.
Bad, but dumb.
Dumb penalty.
What did I tell you?
Yeah.
What did I tell you? You can get him off his game, which now he's had 48 hours to get over it, and I don't think that's going to happen 2 consecutive games. Braden Point, I thought, actually did get opportunities on the power play. Pedestrian.
The whole power play for them was pedestrian, and it looked like a Leafs power play versus Columbus where we couldn't get past the blue line. Remember that series where it's like, oh, we go on special teams, we can't even get it in the offensive zone.
And what did it take? Sort of like Jason Spezza with the Leafs in the Blue Jacket series, it took Corey Perry to drag them into the fray late in the game. Right? Because I even said on the stream, and perhaps I jinxed it, I'm like, for a team that's down 4-0 or 5-0, why aren't they fighting back? Like this is a tale as old as time. Like you're getting your ass kicked. It's the beginning of the series. Fight! Lay some hits. Fight. And they didn't do it until there were like 10 minutes left.
And Wayne threw a clean hit.
And Wayne threw a perfectly clean hit, and they got dirty towards the end, man. It was
the hit on Engvall in like the last few seconds.
Yeah, Hagel and Nick Paul both went high on Engvall, which you have to make a considerable effort to do so. He's 6'5".
Right.
Maroon grabbing Riley, like that's not your dance partner, Pat. You know it's not. Lyubushkin. So I've seen the footage of this. I'm surprised I haven't seen it going around. Lyubushkin punched a ref in the face like 3 or 4 times.
On accident.
Yeah. Because Corey Perry had his jersey over his head.
I couldn't see.
And Wayne Simmons, a lot of people were like, what the hell did he get fined for? Well, so it was basically 2-on-1 because Simmons was trying to get involved. But like, sorry, ref. Like he's the one. He's trying to prevent you from getting punched in the face.
Yeah.
And it was so weird to have 2 refs on that fray of 3 people. And then, meanwhile, Riley has gotten up after getting pummeled by Maroon. He's beating the shit out of Jan Ruda with really only 1 punch. And there's a ref in the corner just standing there like, all right, boys, break it up.
Did you see on your feed Riley in the box when his hand was all bloody?
Yeah, I mean,
looking at it.
I'm
like, I don't want Morgan Riley taking chances like that.
I agree with you there. Yeah.
Now, it's difficult to know if he did that on a human skull.
Or punching a helmet.
No, so he didn't have his helmet. What?
No,
but
did he punch a helmet?
Because that happens all the time. Guys in the fight, and the other guy doesn't take off his helmet, and you hit it.
What I think might have happened, though, is because he basically glanced Ruda's forehead, which is why Ruda was cut open so bad. So he might have, on the follow-through, punched the ice. That's even worse. Yeah, it's bad. It's bad. I don't know if he broke anything, but I can tell it doesn't tickle. Whenever I see those guys with those just mulched up knuckles, I'm like, God, you got to wear a hockey glove on those.
Nobody saw any of that because it all happened during commercial break, which was the most hilarious thing.
Well,
I'm stunned.
The American feed did not cut to commercials. Right. The Canadian feed did.
I found out like 2 seconds before we came back. Or not 2 seconds. Well, there was not a lot of time.
And then they barely showed it.
Well, they're like, there was a line brawl during break. And I go, what? And then when they come back from break, they showed the lead up to it. So remember, I can't hear the friggin' commentary, what the commentary is saying. So I'm watching it and I'm like, no, that's just what happened before we went to break. See, all of it, like we missed quite a bit, didn't we?
Oh, yeah, we did. Now,
terrible timing.
I think John Cooper, to my point starting off was I think he did the right thing as a coach when you're playing mind games, but a lot of people have kind of taken that run with, well, the Leafs can't be that good. It's that Tampa was that bad. And I think I think obviously for John Cooper, brilliantly played. That's how you got to do it. He's been here before. He knows what he's doing. Mm-hmm. But I think if you look at it honestly, even if you're a Tampa fan, you got to know that was Tampa and the Leafs were kind of, it was like sort of the beginning of an arm wrestle at the beginning, right? It was sort of nothing happening, going back and forth, and here's a golden opportunity for Tampa to score on a 5-minute power play, and they can't get anything going. That's what switches the game. Now, Kyle Clifford suspended a game. I know that I believe Corey Perry, Wayne Simmons, and somebody else were fined $2,500. Oh, that'll teach him.
Yeah, I mean,
but I think Kyle Clifford did the Leafs a favor so that they have to dress Spezza tonight, which is great.
No, not necessarily.
It's Kasha Blackwell Simmons.
So who else is in?
Bunting's back.
Yeah. So
it looks like.
Yeah, that's the Jonas Siegel who had Bunting is back.
There you go.
So
wow.
And it's amazing the Leafs weren't down another forward in game 1 because it came out today William Nylander had food poisoning the day of game 1.
And played great.
He was puking all day. He had a breakaway in the first period.
Yeah.
Unreal.
So let's talk about some of the goals that did go in. Obviously, Matthews and Marner in that one game.
We're talking about goals that went in?
Eclipsed, yeah.
Okay, Liljegren's.
Eclipsed,
for starters.
Yeah, it did.
It didn't.
Matthews and Marner.
No, I just wanted to say it. It didn't.
Matthews and Marner eclipsed their total goal output, both of them, for the entire series versus Montreal last year. In one game. Matthews had 2, Marner with 1. That was great. But I think the one that deserves the most shout out, obviously, is Jake Muzzin's shot was awesome.
Yep.
And he played a great game.
Great screen in front from Mikheyev.
Yep. But David Kampf is that goal was like David Kampf scored 1 goal with Chicago the year before. 1.
Mike Stevens was talking to him yesterday, and he was at the game in the press box. He said, and the press box is up on the 6th deck. He said he felt the actual press box underneath his feet shaking.
It's loud in there. That Chris Johnson said, I've been to hundreds of Leaf games, and he said, I've never seen it this loud. Ever.
No, because, well, I always say it's a building that thrives on pops. Everything was a pop. And you always talk about this Leafs fan base, no matter how skilled the team is, what do they love the most? What type of Leafs?
They love a lunch pail team. Yeah. Let's get to he might not score a lot of goals, but he's handsome and he fights good. Like, it's a little like that.
So that's ingrained into their soul.
Yes.
And also they see so many Matthews goals, it's like we take it for granted.
Yes.
So it's almost in a bizarre way that doesn't make any sense, except it makes perfect sense. Killing off a 5-minute major is like the perfect way to start the series for the fans.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
And then a Jake Muzzin goal.
And Jake Muzzin goal.
That's what kicks off the playoffs for the Leafs, a Jake Muzzin slap shot. That's ridiculous.
And
that's
you know
awesome.
who loved that? Edge. Yeah. Noted Leaf fan, Edge. Well, and Muzzin, who the Leafs were so shit in games 5, 6, and 7. 7, he wasn't there, and they only scored 1 goal. 5 and 6, he scored like more than half the goals. Didn't he? Didn't they score, what was it, 4 or 5, and he scored 3 of them?
And one was on the power play, I think.
Yeah.
It was
So
crazy.
him getting the first one and looking great and healthy, more importantly. Man, like, I don't know. Do you have any notes? I don't have any notes.
No.
And how often do you leave a Leaf game like that?
We were talking about looking towards tonight, and I'm thinking 14-1. Like, that's what I'm
14-0.
I'm thinking 14-1 by the end of when we wake up tomorrow. You know,
God,
I'm riding the
so.
momentum of the Leafs, and I think it's probably 2-0 heading to Tampa, and Tampa comes back in Game 3. That's how I'm kind of forecasting the series. If we're talking about visions,
It's just, it's not going to be.
It's going to be so tough. But I don't see how the Leafs don't feel the energy of the crowd. Compound everything they did well in Game 1. Like, they did really nothing wrong. And the idea is Tampa didn't play well, so they got away with everything. But if that's not the case, we're just going to see a continuation of Game 1.
So after the game, Sheldon Keefe rants. The fans. The story is the fans. If you're Tampa, you have one mission, and that's to murder the Leafs in the first 5 minutes.
Take the fans out of it. Yeah.
So watch for that.
I think the Leafs know that, though. The thing
I hope so. They've had some shitty starts this year.
They have, but I think the thing for me with the Leafs is that I just feel like I feel like they know. Like, how many times
They were dialed.
they've learned this. They were dialed. They were focused. It was sort of a like I said, like a arm wrestle at the beginning, and then the Leafs just kind of got the edge and then never let up.
It's, sometimes I can relate to this as a poor student. Sometimes it takes a while for it to click, but when it does, you'll never forget it. And maybe Montreal is what took for it to get it to click.
Or maybe just knowing you could against Tampa. Because here's the thing. Now that you know that you can do this to Tampa, and by the way, Leafs aren't the only team that started a Game 1 like that. Columbus also beat Tampa in 4. I'm not saying the Leafs are going to do that. It'd be lovely if they did. Sure would be great. But so I'm not against it. If the Leafs are listening, I hope you guys know that you can go ahead and do that. Go sweep them. That's great.
I'd be okay.
I'd be cool with it.
You didn't ask my opinion, but I'd be
Jesse, would you be okay with it?
That'd be fine.
You'd be good
We
with
get
it?
a lot less content.
That's true.
If we got 7 games of this, it's a lot more. It's
Incorrect.
a lot more content.
We'd get more.
Yeah.
Because we'd get the second round.
No.
At minimum, we would have 8 games, which would still be our best.
You want 7 games and they advance. Then you get the maximum amount of content.
Let's save the
greedy.
7 games
It's
for
called
later.
greed.
So the long story short, it will be very interesting to see how the first 5 minutes go tonight. I think that is so key to everything.
I think
Campbell
we see a
shut up.
really slow game.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that your prediction?
Yeah. I think it's
Was I right or what?
about what?
The Leafs don't run and gun. They're methodical.
Yeah.
They like to control the game. If it's a slow game, they win.
Speaking of methodical, did you see Mark Mathod's tweets?
No.
He said the fix is in. He couldn't watch the game anymore
Why is Mark Mathot so worked up about this?
because he is obsessed with the Leafs. He can never not. He has a podcast about the Senators, and he just tweets about the Leafs. Man, I don't know how.
Oh,
I don't.
God.
I'll be honest with you. I never tweet about the Senators unless the Leafs are playing the Senators, and I think that's true for most Leaf fans. That's not true for Mark Mathot and his band of merry men. I don't know why. He just needs to talk about us.
Mark Mathot is the old man in a bait and tackle shop, just going, you could get all this from the earth for free, right? What are all you
Go
young
dig up
kids
your own worms.
paying for it? Dig up your own worms. And he does. Like, Mark Mathot makes me wonder why anyone pays for bait.
So
Interesting.
I think it's a slow game where the Leafs control the play. I've become the dump on the refs guy, so I want to say this. High five to every referee on the ice last night. They called penalties that were penalties, and there were a ton of penalties.
So you mean Monday?
Sorry, Monday.
With the Leafs,
I
yeah.
think it was yesterday. Every penalty that was actually an infraction, they called it. And the reason that the game was
Going both ways.
Yep.
The reason the game was 33 minutes only at 5-on-5 is because they kept calling penalties, and I think they're going to keep that up. So
Nah.
keep doing it, refs. You got to keep this up. You set a precedence for the series, and I hope it continues. And if that happens, I think the Leafs win game 2.
The first thing I thought of when I allowed myself to think that happy thought, Jesse,
It's a happy thought.
Game 1 against Boston, that's how it was called in 2019.
Mhm.
Game 2 was anarchy. absolute anarchy.
I really hope we don't see that. I hope they keep this up. I want to see a bunch of penalties if there are infractions.
The Steve Dangle Podcast is brought to you in part by StatHead, powered by Hockey Reference. I use StatHead all the time in my work. Steve?
Yeah, I also steal Adam's work.
But you don't have to be a professional journalist or member of hockey front office to get the most out of StatHead with a mix of cutting-edge advanced stats and deep research tools. StatHead makes it easy to dominate your fantasy league or, learn more about your favorite teams, players, and find favorite things you never heard of. And you can get 20% off a year-long subscription to StatHead by going to stathead.com and using the promo code SDP20 to sign up for an annual subscription. That's $60 for a full year Hockey StatHead subscription, or you can upgrade to the All Sports plan, which will give you tools like baseball, pro football, and basketball reference. Again, just use that promo code SDP20.
Jesse, I was really hungry this morning, but I couldn't think, what's the least spicy cereal on the market?
Well, if you go to Magic Spoon, they have a whole spread of non-spicy cereals.
Wow. Do you think our friend Adam knows about that also?
I don't think he does. Adam, do you know about Magic Spoon?
You know what I do know about? 0 grams of sugar, 13 to 14 grams of protein, and only 4 net grams of carbs in each serving. Only 140 calories per serving. It's keto-friendly, it's gluten-friendly, it's grain-free, it's soy-free, it's low-carb. Build your own box with all their flavors, including cookies and cream and maple waffle. What I know, gentlemen, is that you got to go to magicspoon.com, promo code SDP. Slash SDP, and use the promo code. Yeah. Sorry, you go to magicspoon.com/SDP and be sure to use the promo code, which is also SDP, to save $5 off your order. So, Jesse, you're 100% right, and you get 100% happiness guarantee. So if you don't like it for any reason, they'll refund it to you, no questions asked. Again, magicspoon.com/SDP. Use the promo code what?
Dang. No, SDP.
Thank you.
SDP.
Also,
save
you trampled my line. I was going to say, the more you jalapeno.
Nobody needed that.
Okay, guys. You've heard about Stance socks, but I need you to know that Stance is taking a new stance. They're not just socks anymore.
What are they?
Stance is color, comfort, and creativity from head to toe. They got a radical reinvention of your sock drawer, and now we're talking about a soft line of sweatpants and joggers, which I love, shirts, hoodies, hats, and more, now available in a full range of fits, prints, fabric, and fun. I need you to embrace the life of superior comfort and creative expression with the everyday active apparel that truly is stitched different. So here's what it is. Stance's philosophy is that you should never have to sacrifice your own style for the sake of comfort, and now you don't have to. Head over to stance.com and get 15% off your first purchase. The promo code is athletic, like you'll feel when you wear Stance. Hey! Enjoy the color and comfort of a life less ordinary with Stance. They're stitched different. I'm going to move through some of the series because there have been some great stories in every game. And the next one I want to talk about is the Carolina-Boston series. Now, I know, like, even if I'm looking at Sports Interaction right now, Carolina is favored on the puck line over 2 goals. If they win by over 2 goals tonight, it's a 3.15, right? So multiply your money by 3.15.
I had Boston winning. Oops.
I think everybody outside of Carolina, rightfully so, had some question marks. Mm-hmm. And it comes down to not just the fact that the Canes are, I think, what are they, a perennial second round and out team?
Yeah.
And then beyond that, you lose Freddie Anderson, who is, I don't know, guys, if I know
that's a legitimate concern.
And I know Shesterkin, yes, and I know Shesterkin will win the Vezina, but you'd give him some second and third place votes, wouldn't you?
Absolutely.
Third place. I think you have Sorokin 2 and then Freddie 3.
Agreed. I think Sorokin for sure.
He's in there.
And I think Antti Ranta putting up a shutout and the Canes controlling the pace of game. The thing that Boston is known for, Carolina did to them in the first game.
It was a shutout, like a perfect game preserved by a great catch in the outfield. Because there was a player on the Hurricanes who made a spectacular save. Ian Cole. That dude made a glove save. What a madman. With the inside, it was in Hat Picks. Sportsnet YouTube channel, check that out. It was a fantastic night 1 of the playoffs. And sometimes I get, frazzled. I mean, you saw me by the end of Monday. I'm like, holy shit, 2 months of this? I'm sorry. Game round 1 is the best. Yeah, here it is. Jesse showing it. That's unreal. On Charlie Coyle.
And what was smart is that he didn't wrap his hand around it. Because that's a penalty shot. Nice.
Yeah.
That's a great save.
Yeah.
Great save. I also, I think that series is a lot more even than people are giving it credit for.
100%.
You still, like, Carolina has a little bit of the Toronto, although much less so.
Boston loves drawing teams with a little bit of the Toronto.
Yeah, they got a sprinkle of the Toronto in that they've underperformed the expectations that you think that this team is capable of in the playoffs for one reason or another.
But they know.
I think they know. And I think CJ's been talking about this all year. Is this the last real run for Boston? We've been saying it a little bit more and more and more.
Imagine.
It is. But like, if Carolina does put them out quickly, you have to think that there would be some changes coming. Not that Bergeron would be in Montreal. Like, somebody suggests that Bergeron and Crosby will go to Montreal.
Oh yeah, I didn't see that because I'm blocked.
Good.
But I found out about it after.
I don't think you need to see that person's tweets, but I just thought it was like, okay, that's ridiculous. And the idea that Crosby leave Pittsburgh, LOL. But Bergeron,
I just don't see it.
He's not leaving Boston.
No.
And Boston's not letting him go. But I do wonder about how much longer the Bruins could continue to play at this level without some sort of retool. That'll be interesting.
It's man.
And we know
what
that
do you
Boston
even change
can.
about the team? Like, they're pretty good.
Yeah.
It's a tough one. Like, you got to really get your hockey trade hat on for that.
Maybe, and they have kind of rehabbed their relationship with Jake DeBrusk too, who was playing better. I think he's injured.
Absolutely.
But that was looking like it was on the way out. LA and Edmonton. Now, I got to tell you, guys, Phil Deneau.
And Kopitar.
But Phil Deneau.
That 1-2 punch, I really underestimated.
It was a great game.
Yeah.
It was a great game.
Fantastic game. Holy shit, can we get 7 games of that?
It was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, both teams, all they want to do is score off the rush. And LA's defense is not letting it happen for Edmonton at all, especially when the Deneau line is on. I think I saw, I forget who does the advanced stats. It might be Evolving Hockey. But they had, when the Deneau line was on, I think it was 0 rush chances total for the game, which is insane. But both of those teams, it's such run and gun hockey.
Here it is. Harmon Dale from Canucks.
Oh, yeah.
He's a Canucks reporter for the NHL.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, the Athletic NHL. I don't know when. Phil Deneau played a combined 8:26 at 5-on-5 against Draisaitl or McDavid.
Wow.
Edmonton managed just one shot on goal in that sample. Deneau flexing his elite defense chops again. And I keep saying this. That was part of my bracket. Don't underestimate Phil Deneau. And he scored.
And I hate to bring it back to the Leafs while we're talking about an Alberta team, but bear with me for 1 second. Victor Hedman played less than a minute against Matthews and Marner at 5-on-5. That will not.
That won't happen again.
That's a credit to Sheldon Keefe, too. That's line matching for the home team, where you're not throwing that out when you see the big Hedman out there.
And
nice,
a lot of penalties.
Yes. And
a lot of
there's
penalties.
not a lot of 5-on-5 time for them to get out
I'm sure
there.
Marner had been faced off.
So, I mean, if you're Jay Woodcroft, you have a pretty, you know what your mission is.
No,
I was
go.
going to say, my story from the Edmonton Kings game is yelling about the Dangets. If can we get
what is the line?
Can we get 5 minutes on Mike Smith?
I don't think I've ever heard it. I don't think I've ever heard it before.
I got to save my voice for tonight.
No,
but
no.
If you're a goaltender, tend the goal.
Holy Mike Smith. He had a fantastic game. And if you're a goaltender,
tend the goal.
else you might cost your team a victory in game number 1. And it's ridiculous. Oh my gosh.
Look at that.
This is
you
the
can put that
screen
on
cap.
screen.
I just put this on the damn screen.
Yeah, put that.
Holy crap, Mike Smith. He's behind the net. For everybody listening, he's behind the net. There's a Kings player in front of the net. There's a I think that's Nurse
Keith.
And he is
It's Duncan Keith.
Air Canada, Geico, Esso Supreme, and Sportsnet logo away. So about 7 feet away from this.
And Mike Smith makes the wrong play, and it leads directly to a Kings goal.
Dude.
And what? Okay. So my question is, like, when mistakes happen, you could see oftentimes what they were trying to do and what happened. What was he trying to do?
He had a it's what we like to call Ian Tulloch. I'm sorry for throwing you under the bus. He is one of our better players in terms of skill in EASHL, but he has a propensity for low percentage plays.
Does Ian do that?
Sometimes.
Ian is
but
the
when
Jake
he hits
Gardner?
them, we're like, holy shit.
Yeah.
The Jake Gardner on your team.
Yeah, but oh man, when he does it, holy shit.
It's just he has the man there. Keith is coming around the board.
Yep.
That's your pass 99 times out of 99.
And that's why I'm going to hit them with what they don't expect.
And then Mike Smith decides to go straight up the middle of the ice with the puck and straight onto a Kings player stick.
As a defenseman, the thing that you were taught is do not throw the puck up the middle of the ice in the defensive zone under any circumstances.
Well,
the goalie should not also do that.
No, but this is the thing about goalies who have a reputation for being great at handling the puck. It's like you almost need to put the idea in their head that they suck. Mm-hmm. Because one thing he did really well down the stretch, there was a game, like Mike Smith really started to feel himself down the stretch. There was a game where he took like 2 shots.
Mm-hmm. Where he's trying to score the goalie goal, yeah.
And like, I'm not trying to discourage that, but sir, and if I can borrow a line from the kids, my brother in Christ, there is less than 5.5 minutes left in a tied playoff game, and you're firing it up the gut to a man in the neutral zone. Listen, if you hit it, you're a hero. You're a hero, and we talk about you the whole rest of the day. But the coach is on the bench like, that is a low percentage play.
Yeah, and I think
if he had just left it there.
I'm trying to think that this Kings player coming around behind Duncan Keith spooks him. Because he looks and then he turns up ice, but
Keith isn't stupid. Even if he hits Keith with this pass, Keith rings it around the board. So who's 75?
There's just options there that are not straight up the middle.
No, I don't think so.
There were,
and
he chose at least the third best option out of 3.
These teams are so evenly matched. It looks like in game 1 that they're really evenly matched. These are the little things that cost you games because there's not going to be big moments that teams just dominate. We're often not going to see what we got of Toronto and Tampa, where it's just one team dominant. It's going to be one little thing that leads to one goal, and that's the deciding factor. And then it ends 4-3 and you lose.
I saw a stat, and I'm working on bringing it up right now. The Edmonton Oilers have lost 7 consecutive playoff games.
Yes, because of Winnipeg.
Because of Winnipeg,
no,
I think.
Yeah, because of Winnipeg.
I think that's a little unfair. I can't find it. Mike Smith has not won a Stanley Cup playoff game since, I believe, 2019. It's been supposedly he's lost 10 consecutive. I saw a stat. Now the Oilers have not lost 10 consecutive. I think the one that they did win against Chicago, Koskinen, it must have been. Sir, like, what do you?
Sir?
Do you just go? All right, Mike, that was friggin' stupid. Don't do it again. You played great.
He's 40.
You're the starter for game.
He's 2. A man. He's 40.
Like that's
you gotta.
That's the oldest or second oldest goalie in the league, making a very young mistake.
Here's your stat. So Mike Smith, the last time he won a playoff game was for Calgary in 2019.
He played for Calgary. I forgot about that.
Win.
I also
4 losses.
Man, they had a Mike Smith, Dave Riddick lineup there in Calgary.
Okay, here's another way to put it. He's won 1 playoff game since 2012.
When they went all the way to the conference finals, right?
They did. Dude, he's been able to ride that playoff run for literally a decade.
Rode it to the Olympics, I think.
That's 10 years.
Man. And like, listen, they could win the series in 5, and he could be their best player ahead of McDavid and Draisaitl. And the third amazing player of that trio that everyone unanimously loves and appreciates, Jesse Puljujarvi.
Why don't people?
I don't know.
Do people not like him again?
I
thought he had a rebound.
That's every year. Edmonton needs a media versus fans fight, and that's
they're still that guy's like that's like 7 years of fighting about this guy.
Whatever. Who cares?
Zach Hyman's been underrated. He's had a fantastic season with McDavid.
Yeah. Well,
what a
because
shock.
he's in another lineup.
He's great,
right? But because he's hurt.
But he's also a great player.
Hurt.
Now,
no, he played most of the year.
It's
yeah, but down the stretch he got hurt.
Oh yes.
So,
but he played like 70 games.
Don't you guys think it's interesting that by a full point, the Oilers are still favored to win tonight?
The team that loses
Like,
game one, you come back on home. They should be the favorite.
Sports Interaction has got the Kings at 274, Edmonton Oilers at 148. That is surprising to me. I thought it'd be closer than that because that was a tight one.
Well, they're the home team. They were the favorites heading into the game one. They lose game one. You come back. You're still a home team. You should be favorite.
What are they for the series?
What do you mean? Oh, for the series?
Yeah. To win the series.
Let me have a look.
It's got to be in the Kings' favor.
It is not. It's in the Oilers' favor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Because, dude, like I overrated the loss of Drew Doughty for two reasons. One, Alan Walsh client Sean Dursey, and no, I'm not blowing smoke. That young man.
To correct you, the series betting line is even.
Oh, it's even. My bad. Sorry, I'm looking at the wrong thing.
They're even on both sides.
Because I tell you what, if Edmonton doesn't win tonight, and even if they do, the idea of Deneau and Kopitar in tandem clamping down on the Edmonton Oilers in LA, I don't know how they overcome that. You're going to need some... Listen, McDavid beat the entire LA Kings roster. I know it's Connor McDavid, and he can do it every game. You shouldn't rely on that.
He could only do it once. Like, that McDavid play was classic McDavid. He took the puck literally from his own zone.
Once.
He only did it once.
Jesse, that's the third time he's done it this season, though.
No, but he only did it once that game. It was one goal. LA scored 4.
I see what you mean.
One was not enough to win that game.
You need.
He can't do it alone. It's not that type of hockey game.
Philip Deneau makes it so that
you need depth.
Whatever team is playing against Philip Deneau, you have to get Herculean friggin' performances out of your bottom six.
You need a Matt Bolesky 2016 run.
Yeah.
Where you have like 14 goals in the postseason and then never score again.
You need Devontae Smith-Pelly and Brett Connolly saying, hop on, Ovi. We'll show you how it's done.
I think having Phil Deneau, what it does force you to do is it forces you to have depth and expose the Leafs last year.
Man, we did not put enough thought into, because he had the really poor season offensively. And
Deneau?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in the playoffs, really.
Like, in Montreal, yeah.
Yeah, he was just a metapod, skating around.
Hard.
And we did not put enough consideration into, holy shit, they have a 1-2 punch of Kopitar and Deneau.
I did.
Yeah, I did. I have them in my bracket.
I have LA winning.
We didn't do brackets because we didn't have time on Monday, but I have them winning the series.
I mean starting from the summer.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're right, because I didn't think they were going to make the playoffs either.
No.
I thought it was going to be another year.
And
you're right.
Well, we didn't have them making the playoffs. Dude, you have Kopitar Deneau. Forget making the playoffs. You have a window.
Mm-hmm.
That's a window to win the cup. How many teams can go up against that? That's tough, man.
It's very tough.
And Deneau had 28 goals this regular season.
Go look at Trevor Moore.
Yeah, Trevor Moore.
Go look at Trevor Moore. His line mate.
Mike Stevens often does. Misses him. Has a picture of him. I always imagine, that Wolverine picture? Like that Wolverine meme where he's like holding the picture?
Yes.
I imagine Wolverine is Mike Smith and that is Trevor Moore's picture. Has to
Stevens.
be. Gotta love Mike.
Yeah, 31 assists on the year for Trevor Moore this year.
So
someone had a tweet about mutually beneficial trades between the Leafs and Kings, because you look at Dursey and you look at Moore and you're like, damn it, and then you're like, oh, Muzzin and our starting goalie.
It's a good deal.
Yeah,
everybody won.
Yeah,
pretty good.
And you know what? The Leafs would not even have gotten as far as they did had it not been for Muzzin. Like Dursey is coming into his own now.
Right.
Like it's just not the same. Like people
ask Alan Walsh why it took him so long. What a bum.
What's his bum problem? I want to talk about this. New York. We sort of already mentioned the Wild and St. Louis Blues, so you kind of know the story there. Perron with the hat trick, really convincing win. I want to. There's a couple of questions I have about last night's games, guys.
I got an hour on fucking Pittsburgh, New York.
Okay,
let's go.
Was it a goal or was it not a goal?
That's not enough time.
Was it
to them?
Was the Dumoulin push a goal or not a goal?
I think. Oh man. Here's a tough thing, right? Because defenders are going to try to draw the goalie interference, as dumb as that is, because you could run over your goalie and chase them out of a potential triple overtime game. But then you're going to get players looking for the contact as well, right? So
So here's what.
That's such a tough one off the rush.
So they announced it. So they did it last night. They talked about it on the
in terms of precedent.
They talked about it on the after show. on Sportsnet, and I was sort of going to sleep listening to it, and I had to laugh because Kelly Rudy, of course, was pro goalie. No goal. Fried's like, I think that's a goal. And then Bieksa was like, listen, it's not a goal, and here's why. And Kevin Bieksa is a rare miss, but this for me was a big risk. Or was a big miss.
Okay, let's do this.
He said, listen, if you're not strong enough to hold the guy back, then it's goaltender interference.
Oh, I disagree.
And of course he's wrong. Guys, that is a goal. If a player pushes you in, if you look at the track who's the skater for New York?
Is that Lafreniere?
Yeah.
Because he's the one that passed it. Yeah. So if you look at Lafreniere's track, he's going across the top of the crease, and Dumoulin pushes him. And if you get pushed, no matter how strong you are, if you get pushed from behind, you will be moved. So he necessitated Lafreniere pushed into the goalie, which pushes Casey DeSmith out. And I have to be honest with you, like, is that the precedent you want to set?
It was Kakko.
Oh, it was Kakko. Yeah, he was driving. He was driving.
Yeah, that's the one who had the puck.
He was driving hard. And he is going... Kakko is not trying to run over Casey DeSmith.
I don't think so.
Kakko's not... He's not like... Literally, he's not like Eric Lindros 1992.
So, come on. This is where I think everybody has it wrong in the... Dumoulin's pushing Kakko to the net. Look where Kakko's going. Here. He's heading across the front of the net.
He's going across the front.
Yeah,
but he's not going into it.
What Bieksa was arguing was that Kakko's coming straight down and that Dumoulin forces him.
But he's clearly not. If you look at where he ends up. Look at where he ends up. And he goes, okay, keep going on that replay. Yeah, see? The only reason he takes that angle, because if you look at it too, for an advantageous shot for a shooter, there's nothing about that play that says he's going to the right side. He was going to pull the puck across and try to get it around on his backhand, which means that he's not trying to bull over Casey DeSmith. He's trying to come across the top of the crease.
There's something we're missing here, though. There's another battle in front of the net between another Ranger and another Penguin. I can't tell who they are.
That's probably Lafreniere.
And the Ranger,
maybe I don't know.
Like, I
would say the Ranger pushes Dumoulin, pushes Kakko.
If you're charging the net and you make contact with goalie, I think it's black and white. Like,
is there an overhead?
No.
So, but then we're not going to drive the net?
No, you drive the net all the time. You take your chances.
But if you get pushed,
where's the push?
The push is there. You can see it.
No. Literally show me.
Here, keep going. Push.
Yep.
Right there. Push. And he's pushed just enough.
And it's Dumoulin, though. It's Dumoulin, though, who carries DeSmith out of the net. And, like, Kakko, like, what does Kakko do to drag Dumoulin through the blue?
He doesn't. He's already passed.
No, but the situation is Kakko, he doesn't have any other options because that's where the point of the ice where he skated to. He skated to right in front of the goalie.
But Dumoulin pushes him out. Watch after this.
He skated right in front of the goalie is where he gets his position to.
No, but keep going.
So he's trying to, when he skates to here, his goal is to try and score.
This is the top of the crease, by the way, for the audio side.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. We're not doing a great job for the audio side. So here, he has no options but to come across here and try and score. Him not having the options is his own fault. Like, that's the situation he put him into. And where he went, he hit the goalie.
But he was pushed. He was not going to hit the goalie.
What?
Had Dumoulin angled him out, this is not a problem. So he pushes him from behind.
What is Dumoulin supposed to do?
He's supposed to not be out of position, which he is. He's out of position.
Kakko beat him.
I think I've changed my mind.
Bingo.
I think this is goalie interference.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why.
Judas over here.
Because of something I said before rewatching it. Okay, does Dumoulin push or does Kakko? I don't think Kakko does this on purpose, but Kakko swooping across initiates contact.
Look, he's putting himself.
That's Kakko.
Because Dumoulin got walked. Guys, he pushes into him in the numbers.
Look how Kakko pushes off right here. Boom! He's pushing back
because he knows Dumoulin's
right. So
because he's trying to cut across.
So because he pushes himself into the guy and then the guy pushes him into the goal. That's all on Kakko. Kakko's controlling the entire situation here.
Boom.
He's going to the front of the net. There's a guy behind him. He squeezes in. He touches the goalie. Once you touch the goalie, it's a goalie interference.
Listen, Rangers fans. I know that we haven't gotten along this year, and I know Austin Matthews is going to win the Hart. Okay. But I want you to know that these two are wrong. The NHL is wrong. That's not goaltender interference.
So because a guy gets walked, he should be allowed to hit the goalie?
He doesn't get walked.
He got walked because if he hadn't got walked, Steve, then he wouldn't be behind and he wouldn't have to push against Kakko's numbers to try to break a play up. He didn't even go. And you know what? Dumoulin doesn't even try with his stick. He doesn't even bother.
Dumoulin doesn't initiate the contact. Kakko does.
Because he's trying to cut to the net to get a better angle on the goalie.
Yeah, but Dumoulin's allowed to be there.
But Dumoulin is bent, Adam, and he looks like, I'm looking at his body right now. He looks like a capital R.
He looks like he's chewing on Kakko's pants, actually, in that angle.
He's not in a position to do an adequate push.
Yeah, he doesn't push him. Kakko pushes off,
Gentlemen,
if anything.
Rangers fans, I just want you to know I'm with you.
He's getting his head smashed into the back of his numbers.
Because he's late.
He's not pushing him.
Because he's late and he's off balance.
Kakko's pushing him with his numbers.
He's late and he's off balance.
Look at his head move. Watch Dumoulin's head. Boom! Do you see him bounce off of Kakko?
If that was a body check, Kakko would be getting it. Or Kakko would be getting it.
Rangers fans, you deserve that one. And karma will get you back. Karma will get you back. Karma will get you back.
So with this goal, the Rangers did not deserve to win this game.
Oh man,
guys. Because the whole game they're being outshot like crazy.
It was
in
crazy.
terms of shot attempts. It was like 20 plus for the
And I think at that
Penguins.
point Pittsburgh had outshot them like 44-31. Mm-hmm. But that's New York's game, guys. Igor Shesterkin, if New York's going to do anything, it all relies on him. And I think Kelly Rudy nailed it. He's like, where's Panarin, man? Where was he in the overtime? Where was he in the game? He had a couple of shots, couple of high danger chances, but he needs to dominate.
I watched a period and a half of that overtime. I noticed him once.
Got to be there.
Once.
Got to be there. So I agree with him on that.
That was one of those games. I love the first round because you're paying attention to one game. And when I found out that was in double OT, I was like, that game's still on? It was like 10:30.
Yeah, I watched that game for, I think, like 4 hours combined. It was ridiculous. It started at 8 p.m. and it ended 10 to midnight. It was stupid.
I could not believe the pace of the second overtime. Mm-hmm. The third overtime.
Oh, brutal.
Awful.
A lot of it was brutal hockey. But
because they basically emptied the tank in the second round.
Sidney Crosby was amazing. He made a couple plays where he was just, there was one play at the blue line where he just batted the puck out of midair. Rangers were just kicking it up to the neutral zone, and Sidney Crosby decides, hey, I'm just gonna take this puck out of midair, and it leads straight to a scoring chance for Brian Rust, and he should have finished it, and the game should have ended 2 hours earlier. And couldn't do it.
Malkin's tip in overtime, in the third overtime, doing a tip like that with the hand eye, and your arms are tired, and you forget, right? Like your arms and your body are tired. You're exhausted. Mm-hmm. And this is the first game of the playoffs.
What a way to start.
Your first game of the playoffs is literally 2 games. That's what they did.
I don't think.
And Malkin is able to pop that still. That was a great goal.
It's funny, lost in all this. I'm getting pulled in all these directions. I thought the Rangers would have the edge in this series, and now I'm like, oh, maybe Pittsburgh has the edge, and I'm like, oh, Pittsburgh's on their third goalie. That ends like. Bless Louis Domingue. He did a great job last night. That's a problem.
So I'm trying to see if they have an update on the Casey DeSmith injury.
He wasn't an injury. He had cramps.
It looked to me like it was cramping.
That's what they said this morning on the highlight reels.
He's just been playing for too long because the game last.
You got to drink some water, man.
Did you see that
damn water
frigging story? And I will try to find it about J.S. Giguere.
What was the story? No.
So during one of his playoff runs, I don't know if it was in 2007 when the Ducks won. Or if it was
04 when they lost to Detroit?
03.
No,
they beat Detroit. They lost in the final to the Devils. Okay, from In Goal Magazine, at In Goal Media on Twitter. With all the talk of goalies cramping up in this Penguins-Rangers game, can't help but think of J.S. Giguere telling us he would leave the IV line in his arm after the first overtime in the playoffs to expedite hydration.
That's probably not the best considering staph infections and things like that.
No. Imagine playing goal with a needle in your arm.
I'm sure they taped it or something. They had to have.
Oh, yeah, that'll stop it.
Lost in everything. So Louis Domingue comes in after Casey DeSmith. I hope Casey DeSmith is okay and it's just cramping. But lost in everything. Ryan Lindgren's hit on Ricard Raquel.
Oh, and Ricard Raquel didn't come back.
Yeah, he's I don't know. They don't have they haven't updated on his injuries either. But that's a clear hit to the head.
Oh, it is. It is.
Right?
And the thing is like with Andre Kasha, you like with Ricard Raquel, you weep for the career that could have been because of the injuries.
Oof.
He's this is what I do with hits like this as we watch the slow-mo. That's so bad. Stop thinking about the hockey that you watched growing up. I don't care how old you are. Stop thinking.
Ken Reed hates this.
About
He's texting me right now. He's like, I know what Dangle's saying and I hate you.
I don't care what it was. What is it? That is a player going up into a hit, which you're allowed to do.
It's this angle that's brutal.
But it hits him. He beans him. He beans him right in the friggin' head. Like, okay, what's Lindgren supposed to do? What's Raquel supposed to do? He's not doing anything wrong.
Maybe finish your checkout with a little less aggression.
Also,
the puck's gone.
You know what?
You hit him in the chest, you still put him on his ass.
You want to piss people off in the comments? You ready for this? Ken Dryden suggests in his book about Steve Montador, how about you just don't finish your check? How about you make that illegal? Because it's actually interference.
Mm-hmm.
That play was interference?
Finishing the concept of finishing, well, that got a roughing call, but the concept of finishing your check as it actually stands in hockey is actually because you do not have the puck and you're holding up a player from participating in play. It's actually interference. And he said, why don't you just call that?
Bob McCowan was a big guy on that.
Yeah.
There is
old school guy.
Yeah.
Who's a big proponent.
If you call
of that.
it by the book, every time you finish your check, it's interference. Yeah.
Well, no, but there is X amount of time you're allowed to do it, but that's supposed to be for checks that are unavoidable. He throws this long after the puck is gone, but that's because he knows he's allowed to hit him with X amount of time. So to me, that's not interference because
no, I think that's fair.
Lindgren's following the rules.
Now that I'm seeing where the puck was, yeah.
But if you're talking about rules you'd like to see revisited,
so that
I understand that.
So you can limit head injuries. Again, you're never going to take them out forever, but I definitely think you could limit them.
As it stands right now, no. If you're Lindgren, you hit him 1,000 times out of 1,000. It's just he goes straight up into his brain.
He could have hip checked him. Would have got a wicked result.
Just don't
beat him.
Jump into his head. He jumps into his head. Like, I know that, like, when you see the feet go off the ice, I know how physics work, and I know that doesn't necessarily mean he jumped. To me, he jumps.
For just safety
knows how physics works now.
I do. I'm a genius.
For the sake of people's brains, I would hope players like Lindgren don't finish those checks in that way where you're going for a guy.
I think you're right. I think that's fair.
He can finish that hit. He can finish it no problem.
In a different way.
I want to ask you guys a real question, a serious question that's gonna jog a lot of people. Are the Florida Panthers a fraud?
No. Because
people are asking that after the game last night.
Mm-hmm.
Washington looked like a playoff team.
Yeah.
Florida looked like the Leafs 4 years ago.
Frauds lie to you. And with the Florida Panthers, the evidence was all there.
What's the evidence?
Oh,
wow.
The evidence. No, listen. I still have them beating Washington. Even after that game. Have them beating Washington. They won 13 3-on-3 overtime games. Because
I didn't know that.
Dude, like, they were unbeatable in overtime. The game goes to overtime against Florida. Leave the arena.
And you can see why.
Leave the arena.
A lot of talent.
Forfeit. You can see why. Those are not wins that are available in the playoffs. They're just not.
Mm-hmm.
They're not.
The game changes. Different season.
You know, and you can look at it however you want. Well, it's still 13 games that Florida managed to have tied heading into overtime. Well, what about their opponent? Their opponent managed to have it tied. Those are if you're trying to evaluate a team's regular season performance and how they're going to perform in the playoffs, the amount of overtime games each team has, that is what we like to call the mystery box. And the Panthers had more mystery box games than any other team. So when you're looking at who to pick in the playoffs, and you're looking for the sure thing,
regulation wins.
You got to go with the team that has won the fewest overtime games.
Wow.
To me, this is part of the reason why like the Leafs actually, who did win some overtime games, they have way more wins outside of overtime than the Panthers.
I think 44 regulation wins the Leafs had, and that was second most in the league. I think to Colorado, who had 47. I believe if I might be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure that's what happened.
Oh, I can't wait to get to Colorado.
So on the Jesse Blake Sports Report, I had Julian McKenzie on last week.
Never heard of him.
And
he picked Matthews not to score in the series. Never heard of him.
And we did an exercise.
I know.
Yeah, I know.
He's a crazy man.
Julian's
He's a
ridiculous.
crazy man.
Okay.
We did an exercise where we formed a list of the top 5 teams most likely to win the Stanley Cup. And initially, I didn't have Florida in there, and Julian eventually convinced me to throw them in there over Tampa. But that's besides the point. I didn't have them in there because my biggest indicator for a wolf in sheep's clothing is the President's Trophy. Just by default, every year, if the team wins the President's Trophy, if they're the front-running team in the regular season, they're probably not going to win the Stanley Cup. Since 2002...
Well, that's a sheep in wolf's clothing.
Right? Yes. Yeah, there you go. Since 2002, we got 2 of them. We got the Blackhawks in 12-13.
Since 2002?
Since 2002, only 2 President's Trophy winners have won the Stanley Cup. Having great having the best regular season success in the NHL does not constitute a good playoff team.
The Cup is so hard to win. Holy shit.
Yeah. So it was the
so
Blackhawks
ridiculous.
who ran away with the entire league in a shortened season.
Yes.
They were
they were great.
From literally game 1 to raising the cup, they were the best team. And then the 07-08 Detroit Red Wings, who are one of the best post-lockout teams.
Oh, maybe the.
Yeah. So just going on based off of that, just regular season success isn't playoff success, and Florida Panthers might be a fraud.
Well,
but we'll see. It's game 1.
I love that you said that. The Florida Panthers didn't lie to you. The evidence was there. So okay. Florida Panthers still heavily favored.
I think they should be.
Yeah. Okay.
I still think they'll win. But people were disrespecting the Caps. People were not. Dude, we slandered the Caps all season. They had a good last month and a half. They had a really good last month and a half.
You know what? 2 sneaky teams, Oilers, Caps, in the last couple months.
Yeah, just completely disrespected. And one with a track record of winning. So what the hell? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
Well, honestly, I feel bad for Ovechkin because it's like, it's plagued him for years. Like, remember that the lockout shortened year, he didn't score in the first 10 games. He's like, I guess I better hang him up. And then he won the league scoring title.
32 goals I think he had in 48 games does not get talked about enough in terms of it's one of those things you had to be there. It was goofy in real time.
It was.
Because if you take out those first 10 whatever games it was, he scored basically a goal a game for the last 3 quarters of the season.
Guys, the script still says splish splash. I was taking a bath and I noticed I have beautiful balls. And I also want to say thank you to everybody that today made Steve Dangle doing the Manscaped ad as Elmo go viral, which was great.
Yeah, that is. I'm sorry for your childhood, but I'm not sorry for your amazingly clean balls.
Absolutely, and the rest of your body too, because Manscaped takes care of that. They've got everything from deodorizers to shampoo to body wash. And here's the thing: everything that you get at Manscaped is cruelty-free, paraben-free, dye-free, and vegan. And each product is infused with their refined cologne scent. And I actually walked by Steve's head the other day and smelled it, and it smelled great. And I'm not kidding. That actually happened. Your partner, or your life partner, me, will love the smell of Manscaped and love the smell of you. Experience the new Manscaped product lineup for yourself every single day. And what's that promo code, guys? Dangle! All right, that's 20% off and free shipping. Promo code Dangle at manscaped.com. Again, it's 20% off and free shipping with the promo code Dangle at manscaped.com. Time to get clean with Manscaped's shower routine.
Shout the promo code at your screen. You got to go
Dangle! Last week, I asked you about something very important. Is your butt having enough fun? Guys, are you having enough butt fun?
You know who's not?
Generally, no. I could use some more.
Some more butt
Can
fun?
you tell me how I can get more?
SeatGeek, baby. Download your favorite app for ticketing. It's SeatGeek. So your butt can have some fun. Now, SeatGeek is so beloved by butts everywhere that they've made it the highest rated ticketing app out there.
Wow.
Oh.
Whether it's for concerts, baseball, basketball, football, hockey, festivals, or anything else, SeatGeek puts butts in seats, including yours, and maybe a friend or two as well.
Can I get tickets to the truck show?
You can. You can.
Monster
you can do that.
truck show?
You can find just about anything there, Jesse.
Yeah.
Just a lot of motor oil. SeatGeek rates every ticket from 0 to 10 to make sure you're getting a good deal. Green means good, red means bad, and then there's some in between, of course. So you can get $20 off your first purchase with the promo code SDP at SeatGeek.com or on the SeatGeek app. That again is SDP for $20 off your first SeatGeek order. SeatGeek, get your seat in a seat. Have some butt fun. Download the app today.
I want to speak to who came up with that.
That's what it is. Guys, we got to talk about Roback Activewear. This company's awesome. I got a sweater from there, and it is one of the most comfortable sweaters I ever had because it fits me well. And honestly, I don't overheat, which is really nice for a guy like me.
Oh, you got one, huh?
I got one too.
Yo, what the? Where's mine?
Well, Steve, let me tell you about Roback's performance hoodies. They're a total game changer. They might be the softest, stretchiest hoodies in the game. Jesse knows. I know. Steve does not know.
I'll
Hockey
learn.
players in the league cannot stop wearing these hoodies, and we can confidently say there's no better hoodie to hit the ice in. So you got to check this out. I would highly, highly recommend. Obviously, they also have Q-zips and polos too, and we can talk about that later in the week. But for right now, we need to talk about the hoodies. Roback is gaining traction big time, and we mean it when we say this. It's some of the most comfortable gear we've ever worn. The best part about wearing Roback is when you see someone else wearing one, you kind of give them that subtle nod like,
You know.
I'd give Jesse the guy nod. I would not give it to you. So do yourself a favor and use that code DANGLE at roback.com for a generous 20% off your first order. That's RHOBACK.com. That's 20% off your first order on all polos, Q-zips, hoodies, and tees. That promo code is DANGLE. Just in time for the playoffs. Go check them out at roback.com.
Can I order a row back on tracksuit?
Might I need to check it out. When it comes to Nashville and Colorado, you know, I picked Boston. I picked Boston to win the Carolina series because Boston has their starter and Carolina does not. And I just don't know about Antti Ranta's health, right? But he decided to, pull himself out of the crypt and put on a vintage Antti Ranta performance. It's very clear that the Nashville Predators without UC Saros are just, it was not even close.
No.
Here, Adam, I want to play a game with Jesse Blake.
What are you going to do?
Jesse, here's 2 boxes.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I puked in this box.
Yeah.
I'm not telling you what's in this box. Pick one.
I'm going to pick the puke.
Cool. You just picked Dave Riddick. What? We had this discussion. One goalie who we know is not going to do well.
Yeah.
And Connor Ingram.
Okay.
Connor Ingram is the box. I won't tell you what's in it.
You have to give Riddick a chance.
No,
Do
you
you?
don't.
I think
You're
No,
lucky.
you don't.
You're playing with house money. You're lucky to be here.
I'm happy to see that we know now that Riddick is ass.
He was ass in Toronto.
Listen, I feel bad for him, dude. They gave up a 3rd round pick for that
I know.
gentleman.
It was a bad trade deadline.
Because Connor Ingram goes out there. Say he has an okay game. It's nothing spectacular. Say it's 3 goals instead of 5 or something crazy.
Sure.
Then what? Then are you
Then
like,
you got-
Connor Ingram's the guy? No, you'd probably try out Riddick anyways. Because you're not playing for anything. Because you're probably going to lose this series because Nashville versus Colorado.
Listen. Okay. Both of us come to the conclusion before the series even leaves Colorado that the goaltending is not good enough.
No,
Right?
they can't win.
It's just with my way, with your way, I guess they do it fast.
You got to stop, by the way, doing social experiments with Jesse because there's an answer you want and he's not going to give it to you.
I know. I should.
He picked the box with the puke just to be a dick.
I threw up in this box. I'm not telling you what's in this one. Pick one. And he picks the throw.
I'll take Dave Rittich.
You know
please.
what? I'm thinking about my family. I am Vin Diesel. Waffles would love that puke
Oh,
ball.
I bet.
my God.
I bet Waffles would.
I'm sorry for thinking about my family.
Yeah. You know what?
I'm going to drive this car real fast and save my family.
Quarter mile at a time, Jesse. Quarter mile
Thank
at
you.
a time.
Steve,
Vin Diesel and his brother John Cena.
they just call you The Rock because you don't care about your family.
Well, that's right.
Wow.
John Cena's his brother.
Yeah, in the movie, John Cena's his brother. They really, really try with they don't really look alike thing.
Listen, Vin Diesel's so difficult to work with that The Rock literally the guy who could work with anyone fucking quit. And then in the first week, Justin Lin, the director, just quit the Fast 10 movie.
What? Actually, I thought The Rock was still in it.
No.
He quit?
He won't work with Vin Diesel.
No.
Vin Diesel's nuts, dude.
Don't you?
He's crazy.
I thought it was Tyrese nobody wanted to work with.
No, Tyrese is nuts,
Tyrese
too.
cried because The Rock wouldn't, like, basically give him fast whatever.
Yeah, because I thought nobody wanted to work with Tyrese.
No, Tyrese
because he's
like
psycho.
ultimately I think Tyrese understands his where his money comes from, and it's the Fast franchise.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like he's making music anymore.
And he can't feed his 6 kids or whatever.
Is that what he's got? That's what he said, right? When the Rock didn't want to do it, he wanted to do the movie with Jason Statham, which is a spinoff. I think Tyrese said something like, "Yo, you're taking food off my table."
He took the Sure box.
He took the Sure box.
This is the Fast
Yeah.
franchise.
Yes.
This is the other pile of shit we'll offer you if you say no to those.
Right.
It's only 2 children. I made up the 6.
He's got 6 children.
Jesse! That's 4 children off!
I thought when he was ranting about he can't feed his children because he had a lot of them.
It might be because he spends his money irresponsibly, potentially.
Hey, one kid is expensive.
Maybe. I don't know.
So
Listen, kids are expensive, but it's not that bad.
The Rock couldn't work with Vin.
They had a fight. They had a falling out, and then Vin put out a Instagram post saying like, "Rock, buddy, come back for the last movie, blah blah blah." And The Rock was in an interview the next day for like Jumanji or something, and they're like, "Hey, did you see that?" And he's like, "Yep." And they're like, "Will you?" And he's like, "Nope," because like apparently there's a whole bunch of shit like he doesn't show up to set on time or whatever, and also I think Vin has a significant amount of control over the script, and I guess Universal and Vin are in cahoots, and Justin Lin, the director, was like, "But this doesn't work," and they're like, "Doesn't matter." And so he just basically bounced. And there's actually a super weird, if you really want,
The Rock,
if you want to go down the rabbit hole, there's a super weird video of Vin Diesel, a selfie video, first day on set with Justin Lin. And he's like, "Hey, Justin, how did the first day on set go? How are you feeling about things?" And Justin Lin looks like he's trapped. Like he's got a look on him like, "It's great, Vin. I can't wait for 6 months of this."
I'm sorry, I can't look at those two in the same picture and not think of.
And they're saying it's going to cost them like $1 million a day before they find a new director.
I got the.
I can't not think of the Saturday Night Live Bambi movie trailer.
Well, I don't think I've seen that.
You haven't?
No.
The Rock stars in a gritty action remake of Bambi.
Okay, that would be funny. That'd be.
But they have Vin Diesel as Thumper. And Thumper, how you doing? Thumping. Yeah, I know, it's always something. No, always something. What? He's just drooling. Oh, it's
wild.
Go watch it.
So in November of last year, Dwayne put out that Instagram post begging. Vin Diesel put out the Instagram post begging Dwayne to come back and do the Fast 10. Can I read some of it?
Oh yeah, let's hear it. Let's hear it.
"My little brother Dwayne, the time has come."
Oh well, bad start.
I don't think Dwayne's gonna react well to that.
2 words in. 2 words in.
No.
Wait, the Rock is in his frigging 50s,
And he's big.
He's The Rock.
It's fucking huge.
He says, "My little brother Dwayne, the time has come. The world awaits the finale of Fast 10. As you know, my children refer to you as Uncle Dwayne in my house.
Oh no!
There is not a holiday that goes by that they and you don't send well wishes. But the time has come. So again, legacy awaits. I told you years ago that I was going to fulfill my promise to Pablo. I swore that we would reach and manifest the best Fast in the finale. That is 10. I say this out of love, but you must show up. Do not leave the franchise idle. You have a very important role to play. Hobbs can't be played by no other. I hope that you rise to the occasion and fulfill your destiny." And then after that Instagram post on December, that happened in November of last year, and then December of last year, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, headline, turns down Vin Diesel's invitation to rejoin Fast and Furious. "No chance I will return," says Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Yeah.
Damn, that makes me sad.
Yo.
I hope he.
What am I gonna do?
Return as Hobbs, but not in Fast 10. I hope it's Calvin and Hobbs, and he is the tiger. That is what I want.
Is that what you want?
Yes.
Okay. Can we talk about Dallas and Calgary for a minute?
No.
Michael Raffle and boring. But I thought the most interesting part was Sutter again, who was made fun of for being a nothing talker in LA. Like, I used to listen to radio shows in LA and be like, yo, they'd be making fun of him. Now he says all the things, and they asked him after the game, like, we saw that Raffle and Tkachuk got into it a little bit there. Is that something where you're going to ask him to avoid it because, Raffle's not a great player and Tkachuk is, and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, no, I expect him to go charge headlong into that. I want him to get involved in that. This is the playoffs. And I was like, fucking right. If I was a Flames fan, I'd be like, yeah! How do you not love a coach that's like that?
Yeah, it's funny. Like, sometimes people get upset at questions that they perceive to be stupid because there's an obvious answer. Like, that's a very simple question because, like, what's Daryl Sutter going to be like? No, I want my players to avoid conflict at all costs.
He could have gone the direction of, I would rather him go toe-to-toe with somebody that's on his level.
But it's Daryl Sutter. And he's not going to say that. That's not how he looks at life.
How does he look? Tell me about that.
He looks at it as fuck them. Fuck them, fight them. That's how he looks at it. If someone gets in your face, you punch them. And if they punch you back, you eat it and punch them again. I think that's how Daryl Sutter looks at life. That man births cows in the off season. He births foals. Do you understand?
He does.
While everyone is on the beach or it has their feet up at their cottage in Muskoka, this dude is literally working a farm. He's probably up at 4:30 in the morning milking cows. And you think he is afraid of toil. No. This is Daryl, the most ridiculous man in human history, Sutter.
Who's jacked, man.
Who's jacked. 65. I don't know his age. I don't know. But he's also been 65 since he was 24.
The Sutters looked old when they got drafted.
Yeah.
Like, they already were balding.
Like, can you imagine Daryl Sutter, like, running around and, like, playing with a tricycle as a child? I can't.
No, because he was helping his dad in the fields.
Yes. Like, with bales of hay and other...
They were fighting off coyotes from the chicken pen.
Contraptions,
with their bare knuckles. Like, it just... He's a different dude.
Disguised as a chicken.
It was a boring game. But I did really love that moment, and I thought that was worth highlighting because I
think it's why they're going to come out of the West, man.
You think they're going to take Colorado?
Well, they both have to get there first. I mean, poor Colorado. Holy shit.
Poor Colorado?
Well, poor Colorado in that, like, again, with the whole 1-8 debate, like last year, Colorado shouldn't be playing Vegas in the second round. What the fuck? What the hell? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? To me, that's ridiculous. You want the matchups to be getting better and better and better as it goes. I mean, what's the point of fighting for an advantage in all of this
if it doesn't give you one?
Like, whoever wins the Leafs Lightning series is going to get to the second round and be like, oh, fuck, really? no matter what.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense that in their same little bracket, you have to face the number one seed in the East. Like, that is why it's going to be, if the Leafs advance, it'd be 1 versus 3 in the second round. Yeah. Why don't you reseed?
What's
wrong with the
I'm saying this. I'm using this at the wrong time.
That's an evergreen question, Jesse.
I'm using this at the wrong time because I believe Colorado and Calgary will play in the Western Conference Final.
Yes,
the way it should be. But man, it just feels Stanley Cup's hard to win, man. It feels like both teams should make the Cup final and they can't. Sorry. Sorry, it's not how it works. But, Calgary beat Dallas at Dallas's game. Even though it was close. Mm-hmm. I mean, those 1-goal games, those low-scoring, boring, low-event games, that's Dallas's bread and butter. And if they can't win that, well, boy, you're going to have a long series. A short one.
Dallas had like a couple very good chances, and they weren't able to capitalize. And if they're going to win anything, it's okay. We're not going to get very many chances, but when we get a good one, we have to score. And Hintz wasn't able to complete it. I think it was a 2-on-0, 2-on-1 towards the end of the game, and they weren't able to get it done. And the last minute there, it was very close. Like when we're coming down to scoring 30 seconds left or whatever. And Johnny Gaudreau was making nice plays out there. No, great defense by Calgary.
They're different. They have a completely different mindset from last year.
What's the next series?
All I had to say.
We've done them all.
Oh,
Unless you want to spend some time on Minnesota St. Louis,
did.
which we sort of did.
Do we have some time to talk about Jared Spurgeon and Pavel Buchnevich?
Oh, yeah, we
Spurgeon.
should. Yeah, for sure. Go ahead. Talk.
What the fuck?
that's not a suspension.
No, it's not.
It's a $5,000 fine.
It
Like,
shouldn't be a suspension.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to hear that argument. It's not a suspension.
Right.
why not?
It's not to the head. You're allowed to cross-check people to the body and try and injure them.
That's right. I
That's the
forgot.
precedent the NHL has set.
Yeah, you need like. Well, and okay, had Spurgeon snapped Buchnevich's ankle there, if he has an Achilles injury, he breaks a bone, he's suspended, and the league comes down on him for his dastardly deed. But Buchnevich gets up, so it's fine.
Yeah.
What a stupid fucking league.
Now, Michael Russo also said that, listen, Jared Spurgeon has like the least penalty minutes of any player for the last 10 years.
Give a fuck.
I know. I'm just saying that Michael Russo said it.
Oh, God.
Most murderers had not murdered prior to their first murder. Who cares?
I'd like to see some stats on that.
Who cares? They just gave it to you. Like, who cares? Well, Jared Spurgeon is. You know what?
He's a good guy.
Here. I tell you what. I tell you what. And I'm gonna say this very slowly and carefully. I don't give a fuck what type of person Jared Spurgeon is. I don't care what his record is. I don't care how many penalty minutes he had. I saw with my own two eyes. Why is this league hell bent on gaslighting its fans? I saw with my own two eyes him, much like a psychopath, cross-check Buchnevich in the ankle on purpose. And I watched Buchnevich, his ankle spin 90 degrees. Could have been a high ankle sprain. Could have been an Achilles. Okay, Buchnevich is walking fine now. What about in a week or two? Like, there was no injury on the play. How do you know?
Yeah, that'll be the second round. That's
what a stupid
could be anything at
friggin'
that
league.
point.
People were talking about how does Clifford get suspended and that.
Clifford deserved the suspension.
100%.
Make no mistake.
And I think you have to treat those plays at least as equal. At least as equal.
Jesse, why is that not
It wasn't to the head. Because cross-checking to the body aggressively is like the NHL has
the
said
body.
That's kind
the
of
body.
That's allowed.
The body.
Yeah, anything below the neck
Gaslighting
is
again.
allowed. Like the Matthews and the Malkin, they were to the head. So automatic suspension will find how many games you need to get. But with Spurgeon, there was no injury on the play, and it wasn't to anybody's head. So the NHL, the Department of Player Safety, is like, okay, just a fine.
Everyone listening and watching right now.
I'm not saying I agree. I'm just saying that's kind of the precedent they've set.
Everyone listening and watching right now, please list the amount of cross checks to the cross checks below the knee you've ever seen. For me, it's one. And it was this one, and it's a deliberate attempt to injure. And Justin Bourne, we had a little back and forth that was pretty interesting. Let me look it up right now, because we were talking about this, and he played professional hockey, and I loved his take on this, which is basically, well, Steve, the problem there is you're assuming that attempts to injure are wrong. So, here's what he said. I found it. I said, NHL player safety has a difficult job, and so many plays have a gray area. But how do you view this as anything other than a deliberate attempt to injure an opponent? There just isn't an argument to be had. They missed an easy layup. Justin Bourne says, I imagine they disagree on the fundamental question, are you allowed to try to hurt people? With fighting being just a penalty, I feel like I know their answer. From there, it's just a matter of how far you can go, and apparently the answer is at least this far.
You are allowed to try and hurt people. That's such a funny point.
Wow. You're not allowed to try to snap their ankle. You're not allowed to try to
kinda.
He tried to break his bones.
He did what? No, what? That's not what he was trying to do. He was trying to cross-check him in the leg.
Oh, you're right.
Steve, he was only trying to hurt him. You're extrapolating that he was trying to injure him.
Yeah, you're saying
there's a big difference between hurt and injured.
Right. When you're in a fight, you're not trying to injure them. You're trying to hurt them, but you're not trying to injure.
I wasn't trying to kill him. I was merely trying to flail my katana in his direction. What a dumb dumb decision. The dumbest one for the rest of the playoffs. Everyone sit this one out. It's decided. It's done. Day one of the season. Day one of the Stanley Cup playoffs. The NHL set a great bar. You must be at least this dumb to ride. Like there will not be a dumber decision for the rest of the Stanley Cup playoffs. It's impossible. It's impossible.
Well,
and watch the NHL soar over this bar like a majestic eagle.
Listen, you that may be true about the NHL, but there is an organization that could make a pretty dumb decision that you maybe haven't considered. Dumber than perhaps what you suggested. And that is the Vancouver Canucks not bringing Bruce Boudreau back. Now, here's what I'm going to let me clarify. Jim Rutherford came out, and I didn't realize this was a thing.
Mm-hmm.
But Jim Rutherford came out and said, Jaxie, why did you open the donuts now?
I want to see them.
Because because Steve doesn't know the story. I got to tell the story.
Did he open the donuts?
Yeah, Steve did.
Jesse, what kind of donuts are you
I know what happened with Bruce Boudreau on his contract. Now they have till June 1.
So
I know this. You don't even listen.
So Rutherford said we want him to come back under the 2-year contract that he signed. He has until June 1st to confirm that. We are not going to extend him, is what he said. Mm-hmm. And if he chooses not to, then that's his choice. And Ian McIntyre writes in on Sports that he said it kind of overshadows all the positives the Canucks had at the end of the season. The coach was popular with the fans.
Listen, it's not that they're not bringing Bruce Boudreau back. It's that they're letting him leave.
Well, and here's what he said. We would be willing to have him.
How dumb that sounds.
Well,
There should have been a suspension.
We would be willing to have him back under the contract he agreed to when he signed here, which was a 2-year deal. That's certainly not to say that at the end of next year, we wouldn't want him back if he continues to do the job he's doing. I just feel that as good as a job as he's done, it wasn't a full season.
I'm on Jim Rutherford's side here.
He did sign a contract.
Yeah. No, and you didn't do anything to warrant an extension.
He turned the whole season around.
That happened by default. Getting rid of a head coach and bringing in a new voice, regardless of what new voice it is.
It could have been Mike Yeo. It could have been Glenn Gulutzin. It could have been all the new voices that came in and did nothing.
I think the odds of Bruce Boudreau's price going up are low. Because to me, you're buying high here. What if you extend him and then the Canucks are garbage next year?
Well, that would be more of the player personnel decisions, wouldn't you think?
I don't know, because it's not like they made the playoffs. Like you say, they turned their season around. Yeah, they went from fucking 13th to 10th.
That's 3 spots.
they moved up kind of 4 spots, and everybody kind of got it going. And JT Miller had a great season, but it wasn't a successful season for the Canucks in any respect. I would say. I'd say they need to take a good look at what their roster is and come back next year and make a whole bunch of changes.
He knows we want him back. He was told before the season was over. He knows our position. Like I said, he did a terrific job, but he didn't coach here a whole season. We would like to see him back and work with him on a few things. Everybody work together to make it better. Now,
you have a contract.
Here's if I'm Bruce Boudreau, I'm not asking for more money. I'm asking for more years. And I wonder if he's had other teams reach out and go, if it doesn't work out in Vancouver, we got a nice 3-year package for you.
Oh, but Adam, you're not allowed to do that.
Yeah.
It happens all the fucking time.
That's illegal.
Bruce, if it doesn't work out in Vancouver, I know a spot that might. You can say that. Maybe you don't say 3-year package, but I know a spot that might, and it might not. I'm not saying it's my team, but I'm not saying it isn't.
Are you saying that at least one of the 32 teams in the National Hockey League has violated the rules?
I think every team violates the rules, and if you're not doing that, you're not trying.
Wow.
I think Boudreau might be playing his hand a little too far. You
gotta try.
You have a 2-year contract. You didn't coach here a full season. Come back next year. See what's up. It's
one of those things where you're like, I thought I'd ask.
Yeah. I know. That's why it's probably not even that serious. It's a hot quote, and the way he said it too, and Jim Rutherford's stern, manly voice, it is really good. But it's probably not that big of a thing, right?
Steve, I see you brought 2 boxes full of 6 donuts each. Where's the third? I go, Jesse. And you're like, I thought I'd ask.
Yes, yeah.
You still get 2 boxes.
Did you see the Klingberg-Anderson fight?
No.
So
I know Klingberg got kicked out.
Yeah, and so Klingberg and Anderson were Anderson was all over him. He's like, you want to go, you want to go. Klingberg drops the gloves. Jesse, I don't know if you can find it.
Sure.
But then Anderson doesn't drop the gloves. So Klingberg had a lot to say after the game about this.
Ooh.
And he said, like, listen, like, what did he say? I'm not saying I'm a tough guy, but he's acting tougher than he is. I feel like he's the one guy out there in the scrum who doesn't have a guy, and I'm standing there with Blake Holman, and he's standing, shaking his gloves at me like, you want to go against me? Probably the least fighter on our team on the ice there. I'm skating over to him, and I drop my gloves, and I want to go, and he's just standing there for 2 seconds, and then all of a sudden he drops the gloves. And he said he's acting a little tougher than he is, and we're going to go after him. Have a look at this, and I don't know that he's wrong, at least in terms of holding on to dropping his gloves.
God, sorry, Jesse's brought up the Raffle fight. Holy shit.
Yeah, that's what I said, right? It's crazy.
Right. Because it's at the same time.
I'm waiting for Klingberg to happen.
So
I was listening.
What you're going to see, and in the audio part of this, I'll explain it, is that imagine I grab Steve after Steve says, come over here, let's fight. And then I drop my gloves and I've got Steve, and Steve's like, nah, I'm not going to drop mine. I can't start throwing punches at Steve because then I'm the instigator. So Anderson hangs onto his gloves and then drops them and then jumps Klingberg and wins the fight handily. Is that good gamesmanship?
And he jerseys him right away.
Is it gamesmanship?
We don't see...
Or is that good strategy? Gamesmanship and good strategy, or is that unfair?
Oh, they're down here.
Excuse me for coughing in the mic. Sorry
it depends how you look at it, right? Like, it's one of those things where, like, all's fair in love and war. Or whatever.
Is this a dude who's just mad he got his ass whooped?
But, like...
I mean, Anderson played it right.
Did he win it in a nefarious fashion? He perhaps... We're going to keep having ridiculous discussions like this as long as fighting is allowed. Like, what is... I would love to read the rule book definition of fighting. Like, did Anderson... Sorry, that's a very funny picture of Klingberg with his jersey over his head. Did Anderson violate a rule by fighting in a less gallant way than one might expect? I don't know. It's a fight. Like, okay, Patrick Maroon,
I think whatever Anderson did, it worked.
Yeah, like Patrick Maroon fighting Morgan Riley the way he did. I thought it was kind of chicken shit. Is it against the rules?
No.
And
you know what? Pat Maroon's not traditionally chicken shit, but he does get under your skin.
Yeah, I mean he tried to literally dig under Riley's skin.
Yes, he did.
And find gold.
And we learned with Stützle that if there's one thing NHL players hate, it's when guys are doing things that aren't up to code, you know? And I guess the way Klingberg looks at this is, hey, you did something where like a man wouldn't do that, you know, stand up and fight me.
Man.
You know, so I guess that's why he's upset. It's not by the precedent we've set as NHL players, you know? We don't do that. We stand up and we fight and we drop our gloves.
And I bet Rasmus Anderson's like, still won.
Yeah, like, I mean...
what? Still won?
Yeah.
You can bend anything, to be what you want it to be.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no, this is why I lost that fight. I wonder if they've played together before. Like for Team Sweden, been on the same D-corps.
Anderson and Klingberg?
And I wonder if there's like something personal there.
If anybody would know that, it would be you.
Well, I was just looking up. I'm like, Klingberg is Swedish, right? For some reason, I thought he played for the States.
No.
But, maybe it's all the stars on his jersey. Yeah, like, I don't know. It's at worst what Anderson did was chicken shit. And at best, it was he won a fight.
Okay.
I don't know. Every conversation like this is so incredibly foreign to anyone who doesn't watch hockey. Like, we're talking about the rules of combat.
No, not even that. Talking about the rules of when you drop your gloves for combat.
I
just thought it was an interesting thing, and I love conversations like this, by the way, because it's so getting at the nuances of everything.
You're not always going to get a very obvious, we are fighting now. You're not always going to get... There's a hilarious clip of Zach Kassian. I can't remember if he was with the Peterborough Petes or the Windsor Spitfires. His hands go above his head, and he throws the gloves down, and like, I swear he's like at the benches, and he throws his gloves off so hard that they hit the opposite boards. It's very rare you get a, let's fucking do this, little man. It's very rare. I grew up with, tough guys talking about the code who would stare at you and they'd like just throw their gloves off in surprise. Like dudes who you look at as they would never do that. Yes, they did do that. I watched them do it for a decade in the 90s. This has been in the game forever. You're going to hear lots of stuff about, oh man, he would never do. Yeah.
And Klingberg said we're going after him. And what he's not saying is we're going to try to win. And that's, for Anderson, if you're talking about the mental game, you got Klingberg, the longest serving and potentially one of the best defensemen in Dallas Stars history, looking at you and going, I'm coming after you rather than trying to win the game. That's the place I want to be.
Uh-oh, guys. John Klingberg is coming after. I don't think the Calgary Flames are scared, man.
Oh, I don't think so either.
They went a long way to winning that series in game 1.
Let's do the press conference.
The Presser. SDP. The Steve Dangle Press Conference.
Cbooth34 on our Discord server writes in the press conference questions channel. Since goals are obviously worth more than assists, this is an Adam Wildism, should goals be worth 2 points? I think this would make the points race for individuals a lot more fun to follow. So now, it's not that in the game a goal is worth 2 now. It's when we're calculating the points for a player, you get 2 for a goal, 1 for an assist on the points stats chart. What do you guys think?
Go a step further.
Uh-huh.
Goals are a point. Primary assists are half a point. Secondary assists are a quarter point.
You should just go 3-2-1.
No.
It'd be easier to calculate.
Absolutely not. No. The nerds have taken over.
It's so weird.
And we are doing decimals now, Jesse.
I think hockey's the only sport that combines 2 separate things and say this is one thing. Like if you look at baseball.
Well, basketball has assists.
Yes, but they don't go, here's how many points look at baseball, like home runs and RBIs. They don't combine your home runs and RBIs and go, here's your total runs for the year.
They do.
They have a runs stat that is separate.
So where you're wrong is they do for the calculation of certain metrics.
Like WAR?
OPS is on base plus slugging.
Okay.
And that's the new batting average has kind of been replaced by OPS.
Yes. Yes. I agree with that. And that's fair. And that's an advanced stat or whatever. But there's no science to goals plus assists equals points.
Right. I get it.
I know that seems weird, but look at basketball. They have buckets. Buckets are worth 2. They have assists.
Or 3.
Assists are not worth anything but assists. Buckets are not worth anything but buckets. Assists are not worth anything but assists. They don't combine the 2 stats.
For just a counting stat. Yeah, when we're not trying to formulate some sort of advanced metric or percentage. For a counting stat, I guess it is weird that they collect points.
In soccer, they don't do that. They're not like,
Yeah.
Hey, listen, I know that Messi scored that unbelievable goal, but did you see the 2 guys that set him up? That's how hockey works. It's so fucking weird.
It's true.
It's like, oh, did you see random midfielder who will play 10 games this year? He set Messi up. That's the guy we give the credit to. That's how hockey looks at things. It's so fucking weird.
He sent it to the guy who ran 50 meters down the field.
Yeah, there are great assists. And assists have value. But when we're talking about power ranking them, goals, assists, secondary assists.
To you.
To everyone.
That's
and if
not
it's
how
not,
everyone
you're
looks at
wrong.
it.
You're wrong. Kipper said
you.
it on his show. I would be like, if we brought Kipper back on here, be like, Kipper, hey, I know you played in the NHL. Still wrong. Still wrong.
It was a large reason I took the Norris away from Roman Josi. He piled on those secondary assists.
You piled on those secondary assists.
Also,
you were wrong.
Also, Cale Makar
He had 55 non-secondary assists.
Cale Makar had Josi had 56. Cale Makar had 55. If you took away the secondary.
So Roman Josi
last night, Cale Makar walked fucking Nashville again.
He sure did. That goal he scored was freaking real.
That's your Norris Trophy.
Irfan Gaffar had the funniest tweet of the night because I don't remember what the score was, but he goes Colorado in 3. And then Colorado kept going, and he goes, Colorado in 2.
Yo, that guy rules. He's such a nice guy.
I like him.
So,
Jesse, you would appreciate how tall he is. You're both, I think, 6'5".
Oh, nice. What's the reasoning behind us collecting goals and assists and totaling as points? Since we've done it for a century.
It was like old school OBS. It was a way to calculate your offensive production combined rather than saying, well, he had 56 goals and 26 assists. You'd be like, he had 77 points last year. I don't even know if that math adds up. Probably doesn't. I just made it up. Just an easier way to say how many points he had.
I think primary points to me is the best.
You know what I want to do?
What?
I want to combine save percentage and goals against average.
Let's do it.
Let's
find a way.
Wins, losses, and overtime losses. Let's combine that. How many wins and overtime losses?
No,
that's what I'm going to do.
And we're gonna.
How many points per goalie?
No.
PPG.
No.
It's a new stat. You've never heard of it before.
It's not saves. It's we also count when the goalie leaves the net to play the puck, and we call it puck touches. Just want puck touches.
PTs.
How many times do they puck touch?
Goals started above replacement, and that would be Mike Smith. Or you know what? We can name the stat after him. Mike Smith's above replacement.
So here's the problem. Because many people have told me this. The stats that we have publicly available to us suck.
They do. I know.
Yeah.
They suck. The stats publicly available suck. The points are fine, obviously. Hard to screw that up. But even still, assists are to the whim of the ref. And I think, they award some stuff afterward. Steals suck. Hits suck. Takeaways are steals, my bad. Giveaways suck. The publicly available stats for all of that shit in the National Hockey League, for all of hockey everywhere, suck. Teams have almost every team in the NHL, if not every team. As far as I know, it's almost. They have their own internal metrics.
Mm-hmm.
They have their own, here's what we value. Here's shit that we value.
Mm-hmm.
Some teams use the same company, and so, maybe they have the same company, and that is what they consider to be the pool of stats, but they also have their own individual internal stats. God, I would love to peek behind that curtain.
Yeah,
it's such a good point.
It's also like the stats that you have access to on your that can make or break your team, right? So
I wish I could make my own.
There's no
here's what
mutually
I value.
agreed on. Yeah.
Here's what I value, and here's how. Like I have highlighted many times in LFR because the battle between primary assist and secondary assist. There have been many goals over the years where I've been like, the secondary assist on this play is more important than the primary. It's arguably more valuable than the goal because none of this happens without that. I wonder if there's a way to. I wonder if any team individually looks at a goal and they go, okay, on this play, I am choosing to weigh this secondary assist more, and I am taking points away for this primary assist, or on this assist, the player didn't friggin' do anything, so I'm taking this away. Remember the Morgan Riley goal from this season where Jack Campbell got an assist?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He hands it to Riley on the right side of his net. Riley goes the entire length of the ice and scores, and that's an assist. Knock that off. Stop it. No one gets an assist on that play. You make an exception for Jack because he's wonderful and should be protected at all costs.
Hopefully he had a nice quiet evening with his cats last night.
I think as ridiculous, I hope so too. I hope as ridiculous as the National Hockey League is and the people in it, like truly ridiculous, genuinely ridiculous people, I'm sure their internal stats are far more common sense based.
I think so.
Oh yeah,
I think so, especially for the teams that win regularly.
The gap between the things that we can just Google on the internet and the information that an NHL team has, it's so huge. It's ridiculous. They track everything, and they're able to break it down in the ways that they want to. They're not looking at any of the numbers that we have. And maybe one day we can have on Berkshire for like a summer episode to like spill some tea on some of the information that Sport Logic tracks, because they've worked with some clubs before. They work with a lot of the broadcasters.
We need
some of those advanced numbers. But yeah, the teams. It's such a great point because the teams know so much more than us.
Yeah,
and we will never get access to that information unless we get hired up in an NHL team, and it's just our job. You know?
At this point, we're just talking about how do we complicate something that's already bad, and it's just until every home arena, the Islanders, we've talked about it for years. They award more hits than other teams. So
they're tougher.
So right off the bat, like if this was science, we'd be like, all right, so the pool of information is poisoned by that shitty information.
Yeah. And the teams don't care. It's just they know what a hit is.
I don't think they're looking. I don't think they're looking at hits to be like. I don't think Caps were like, well, we need to get Tom Wilson because of his hits. I think they know he plays tough because you can see that he does.
No, we've seen him turn people into a bug on a windshield.
Yes,
and we don't need to see a number attached to that.
By the way, I hope he's not too injured. Three shifts last night total,
man.
And he hit the.
And they still won.
Jesse, next question.
We're all good.
No, we're all good. Yeah. Okay, we don't have any fucking questions, so stop asking. Anyway, hey, listen, we're back on Friday. So we got a Leafs game tonight, a Leafs game Friday, and a Leafs game Sunday at very least. And definitely, hopefully that's it. I'm hoping that's it. I hope that's it. Sorry, Tampa, but I love you. You know that, but I don't love you this much. I really hope that it's a good game tonight. Wherever you are, whatever team you follow, we love you. We will see you back Friday. Don't forget new CJ show. And of course, following every Calgary and Toronto game, a brand new Game Over.
They've done such a great job.
They have. Rahaf's on tonight.
Hey, there you go.
So that's been amazing. It's Audie and Peter did a great job last night. Really fun.
I wonder what they thought. I'm sure Calgary did no wrong.
They were like, this is great. It's all great. And we're great. Okay, that's it.
They're right.
The Steve Dangle Podcast. Follow the guys on Twitter at Steve_Dangle, at Adam WYLDE, and at Jesse Blake. Connection complete.